Good morning, everybody. This is Karen DeLeon with the Business Intelligence team. This morning I wanted to share with you some topics, starting with our system status, kind of how our system health is. We have a new design standard for our Webby reports that I want to share with you. I will be doing a report spotlight on our B0028 payroll report. As you know, I'm very excited about that report, so I'm wanting to share with you how the report could be used, possibly. And then I'll be ending with what's next, what's coming up in the pipeline for the Business Intelligence team. To begin with, I want to share with you some of the performance challenges we've been dealing with over the last year. So if you look at the chart below, this is a chart that represents the amount of time it takes to load our daily process every day. We basically begin at midnight, and so this actually does correspond also with the hours of the day. So at the beginning of 2018, you'll notice that we were finished approximately at 3.5 hours or 3:30 in the morning. We had an occasional spike that represented some data volume that came through, but for the most part we were done fairly early in the day. Then in March, we implemented the new data provider to support the action and cost distribution data that was needed for the B0139 employee salary actions with budget detail report. If you remember back the last time we talked, I asked you about this report and asked you for your feedback on how valuable it was, and I did definitely get some feedback, but it seemed to be mixed reviews on whether this report was useful or not. We let that continue, but this does impact our loading ability because we also have other things that we have to load in a day. And so if the daily isn't finished until 6 o'clock in the morning, that means that in order to finish the monthly, I'm running over into the 9 a.m. hour. And so that does impact you at the beginning of every month. Later on, we installed the system upgrade and the Unix patches for the system, and you can see the impact of those two things. During the last part of 2018 and the beginning of this year, we have been working with our internal technical team, DIT, we engaged with SAP, and we engaged with Oracle to try to correct this situation that occurred where our loads were not finishing until well into the 8 to 9 o'clock time frame. And I know that that really impacted you, and I apologize for that, and I sincerely appreciate your patience while we dealt with that. I am happy to say that that has been corrected. It was corrected in February, and we are running normally now. Things look like they're back in shape. However, we're still left with the question of whether or not we want to continue to support the B0139 employee salary actions with budget detail report. So in order to answer that question, I've taken a look at how the report's being used. This is just the report usage for the last few months. And you can see basically the different agencies that are using the report, and the little chart on the side there shows how many times the report's been executed by those agencies. So that's not a huge amount of activity on the report. However, it is some significant activity. And so at the end of the presentation, I will be asking you guys to give me some feedback on whether you think we want to continue loading this report. This brings me to the next topic, which is the new Webby design standard that we're implementing across all of our Webby reports. This idea was brought to us by Dana Lyle, so I want to give her a shout out for this awesome idea. Basically, when you look at the report title of any of our Webby reports, you'll notice that they will have an underline under them. That indicates that they are actually a hyperlink. So if you click on that title, it will launch the report description right there in a separate tab for you. So you no longer have to go and look for the report description. If you have a question about the report, you can just click on the title and it'll bring that report description up for you. The next thing I want to share with you is just basically some highlights from our B0028 Payroll Financial Postings Analysis Report. You guys know I've talked to you about this before. I'm very excited about this report product, but I don't think that people really understand the power and the flexibility of it. So I wanted to take a minute and highlight some of this for you. To begin with, when you start this report, you've got a prompt screen that's got a lot of different options for you to look at. The report itself is run by the business area and the posting date of the payroll process. Remember that this report is tied to the ZFIR 18 report, and so it's really about once the payroll processing is completed and how these numbers reconcile with the NCAS accounting system. So as you can see, the initial layout of this report is based on accounting needs. It's got your budget code, your funding source, your GL account information. It also has the NCAS relevant information, and this is important because we heard there was some challenges related to the fact that some account codes in HR payroll were being translated once they hit the NCAS accounting system, and so there was some manual crosswalking that needed to be done. We actually got a data load from the NCAS system directly so that we could do that crosswalk for you. So that is all available on this report now without having to do manual crosswalking. However, a lot of times we're not as interested in the accounting pieces as we are some other aspects of payroll reporting. To support that, we've added a lot of different available objects so that you can look at this report with different views, including employee, position, job, of course funding source, and wage type information. In addition, we built a special wage type category that groups the different wage types into things like earnings and deductions and taxes. Within those, like for example, earnings, you see we have regular salary, paid holiday, vacation, on-call, shift premium, etc. So in this slide, I've given you a different view of the same exact report. Basically, what I've done is I've added on the job family information and used an earnings wage type category so that I could total up the sick leave costs by job family. So this is one way of getting that extra value out of the report. This next view is very similar, except what I've chosen to highlight is basically the bonus leave payouts for the year. So in this view, I changed it up and added on the posting creation date and also the different wage types that are part of the earnings so that you can see that broken down. The main thing here that you can see is you can actually capture the hours that were involved in this. So in this view, it captures all earnings other than regular pay by position for a given payroll with hours. So if you look at the report, I've captured the posting creation date, the position number, the wage type category, which is earnings, but also all of the wage types that are in it, with the exception of regular pay, the hours, and the dollar amount. In this view, I took the same data and turned it into a cross table and added basically all of the different components, so your net pay, your earnings, deduction, and employee taxes, so that you could see a total across. So in general, you would want to see that the difference was always zero because your earnings incorporates all of the other pieces. So this brings me to the what's next section, and basically I just wanted to share with you what we're going to be working on through the rest of this year and possibly into next year. Of course, we're going to be incorporating the enhancements into our reports, the enhancements that you guys have asked for, the enhancements that come across from legislative needs. But the big thing that I wanted to try to focus our team on in addition to that, let's bring some more visualization and analysis to the tool set. We already have existing Design Studio tool, and we will be expanding that and migrating the existing turnover reports into it this next year. We are also looking at adding Lumira. Lumira is more of a dashboarding type tool that is friendlier for customers to use on their own, so we're going to look at that really carefully to see if we can extend our offering and provide access to that tool to you. The other thing that I'm super excited about, I've been playing with it quite a bit myself, is Power BI. And I know that some of the agencies are using Power BI to some extent in one form or the other. We're looking at this very carefully. We're trying to determine how we can use it and enhance our capability to deliver value for our agencies with it. The other thing that we will be researching this year is mobile BI reporting. We've heard that some people would like to be able to access the reports with their mobile devices. Thank you for your time. I appreciate getting the opportunity to share this with you. Please get with me at the end of the session to get any of your questions answered.